You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
Your business needs AI solutions that are not only ambitious, but also practical and adaptable. That's where Domo's AI and data products platform comes in. With Domo, you can channel AI and data into innovative uses that deliver measurable impact. Secure AI agents connect, prepare, and automate your data workflows, helping you gain insights, receive alerts, and act with ease through guided apps tailored to your role. Data is hard. Domo is easy. Learn more at ai.domo.com. That's ai.domo.com. CISA and the FBI warn that ghost ransomware has breached organizations in over 70 countries. President Trump announces his pick to lead the DOJ's National Security Division. A new ransomware strain targets European healthcare organizations. Researchers uncover 4 critical vulnerabilities in Ivanti Endpoint Manager. Microsoft has patched a critical improper access control vulnerability in Power Pages. The NSA updates its Ghidra reverse engineering tool. A former U.S. Army soldier admits to leaking private call records. Our guest is Stephen Hilt, senior threat researcher at Trend Micro, sharing the current state of the English cyber underground market. And the pentesters' breach was simulated. Their arrest was not. It's Thursday, February 20th, 2025. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. Our CyberWire team is at the ThreatLocker Zero Trust World 25 conference in Orlando, Florida. CISA and the FBI warn that ghost ransomware has breached organizations in over 70 countries, targeting critical infrastructure, healthcare, government, education, technology, and manufacturing. Active since 2021, Ghost exploits outdated software vulnerabilities, including Fortinet, Cold Fusion, and Exchange flaws. Ghost ransomware operators frequently change their malware, ransom notes, and email contacts, making attribution difficult. The group, also known as Kring, Cryptor, Phantom, and others, uses publicly available exploits to infiltrate systems. Defensive measures include regular backups, prompt patching, network segmentation, and phishing-resistant MFA. Ghost attackers have previously used Mimikatz, Cobalt Strike, and CertUtil to evade detection. The advisory provides indicators of compromise and tactics to help defenders mitigate threats. Fortinet users were repeatedly warned to patch vulnerabilities, but Ghost continues to exploit them. Former Trump White House legal advisor John Eisenberg is set to be nominated to lead the DOJ's National Security Division, which oversees terrorism, cyber espionage, and FISA surveillance. Eisenberg was a key figure in Trump's first impeachment, handling the Ukraine phone call that sparked the inquiry. He reportedly ordered the call's recording into a classified system, though he denied it. Eisenberg's nomination is highly relevant to cybersecurity, as he would oversee cybercrime investigations and foreign cyber threats. The division plays a crucial role in combating nation-state hackers, ransomware groups, and espionage operations. He's also expected to face scrutiny over FISA's Section 702, a critical foreign surveillance tool under debate for renewal. With the recent leadership shakeups in the division, Eisenberg's appointment signals Trump's intent to install loyalists in key national security roles ahead of potential cyber policy shifts. Meanwhile, Kate Arrington, a Trump ally and former DoD cybersecurity official, has been appointed as the Department of Defense Chief Information Security Officer. Her return to the Pentagon is unexpected, given her 2021 suspension over allegations of disclosing classified information, claims she disputes, arguing that Biden appointees forced her out due to her Trump ties. Arrington, previously a champion of the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Program, now faces major budget cuts that could hinder cyber defense initiatives. With an 8% defense budget reduction, concerns grow that cybersecurity programs may be deprioritized. Experts warn that staff cuts could threaten the implementation of CMMC, crucial for securing defense contractors. Her role is critical in advancing zero-trust security and ensuring stronger cyber hygiene practices, but funding and personnel shortages could limit progress. A new ransomware strain, NSA has been used in attacks against European healthcare organizations between June and October of last year. The attackers exploited a checkpoint security gateway vulnerability to gain access and deploy malware linked to Chinese state-sponsored groups. Though relatively unsophisticated, NSA encrypts files with AES 256 CTR and drops a ransom note without mentioning data theft. Analysts suggest this could be a false flag, a mix of espionage and extortion, or state-backed hackers moonlighting for profit, a shift in Chinese cyber tactics. Horizon 3 AI has disclosed 4 critical vulnerabilities in Ivanti Endpoint Manager. These path traversal flaws, patched in January, can be exploited by unauthenticated attackers to coerce machine account credentials, enabling relay attacks that could lead to server compromise. Attackers can use these flaws to gain domain admin privileges and compromise all connected EPM clients. Ivanti initially released a patch that caused issues, followed by a second update. Organizations should install the latest fix to mitigate the risk. Microsoft has patched a critical improper access control vulnerability in Power Pages, its low-code software-as-a-service platform for business websites. The flaw, already exploited in attacks, allows attackers to elevate privileges and bypass user registration controls. Microsoft automatically mitigated the issue and notified affected customers, advising them to review their sites for signs of compromise. No additional patch installation is needed. The company has not disclosed details on the attacks. This follows recent research on misconfigured Power Pages exposing sensitive data. The NSA has released Ghidra 11.3, a major update to its open-source software reverse engineering framework, introducing advanced debugging, faster emulation, and improved integrations for cybersecurity professionals. Key enhancements include kernel-level analysis tools, cross-platform debugging, and collaborative workflows, making Ghidra even more effective for analyzing malware and vulnerabilities. The update enhances low-level debugging with trace RMI connectors, supports macOS kernel debugging via LLDB, and improves Windows kernel analysis using Microsoft's EXDI framework. This is crucial for reverse engineering advanced persistent threats that manipulate the kernel to evade detection. Ghidra 11.3 also replaces Eclipse-based tooling with Visual Studio Code integration, accelerates P-code emulation via JIT compilation, and improves binary visualization and processor support. Security teams can now analyze modern cryptographic algorithms, IoT firmware, and complex malware more efficiently. U.S. Army soldier Cameron John Wagenius has admitted to leaking private call records from AT&T and Verizon. He intends to plead guilty to 2 counts of unlawfully transferring confidential phone records without a plea deal. Prosecutors suspect Wagenius is Kyber Phantom, a hacker who allegedly compromised at least 15 telecom firms and threatened to leak U.S. government call logs. Authorities also link Wagenius to a major extortion scheme involving stolen data from 150 Snowflake Cloud accounts. He was allegedly recruited by Alexander Connor Mocha and John Binns, who extorted $2 million from AT&T, Ticketmaster, and others. After Binns' arrest, Kyber Phantom threatened further leaks unless AT&T negotiated. Wagenius faces up to 20 years in prison. Mocha and Binns, arrested in Canada and Turkey, await extradition on multiple fraud and hacking charges. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Stephen Hilt from Trend Micro. We're discussing the current state of the English cyber underground market. And the pentesters' breach was simulated. Their arrest was not. Stay with us. Cyber threats are evolving every second, and staying ahead is more than just a challenge, it's a necessity. That's why we're thrilled to partner with ThreatLocker, the cybersecurity solution trusted by businesses worldwide. ThreatLocker is a full suite of solutions designed to give you total control, stopping unauthorized applications, securing sensitive data, and ensuring your organization runs smoothly and securely. Visit threatlocker.com today to see how a default deny approach can keep your company safe and compliant. Hey everybody, Dave here. Have you ever wondered where your personal information is lurking online? Like many of you, I was concerned about my data being sold by data brokers. So I decided to try Delete Me. I have to say, Delete Me is a game changer. Within days of signing up, they started removing my personal information from hundreds of data brokers. I finally have peace of mind knowing my data privacy is protected. Delete Me's team does all the work for you with detailed reports, so you know exactly what's been done. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and use promo code N2K at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/N2K and enter code N2K at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/N2K, code N2K. Stephen Hilt is Senior Threat Researcher at Trend Micro. I recently caught up with him to discuss the current state of the English cyber underground market.
So Trend Micro, actually since 2011, have now published 49 branches into where we look into the underground marketplaces. The last one, this one would have been the 48th publication. Since then, there's been one more on the Spanish underground. But we just like to keep tabs on where the cyber criminal underground is going, and everything just around the underground, so we can help protect our customers and the internet at large. Just kind of get a gauge of where everything is and what cyber criminals are trying to do.
Well, let's dig into some of the details here. I mean, in terms of operations and offerings, what are some of the significant changes you all have tracked?
Yeah, since 2015 was the first English underground, there actually has been a notable decline in the sales of drugs and weapons, specifically on English-speaking forums, while access as a service is dominating. Like over 50% of the threads that we observe are about access as a service, and crimeware is pretty stable there, where people are trying to buy malware, counter AV solutions, things like that as well.
What about the activity of law enforcement? Has that had a significant influence on what you're tracking here?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the big reasons why you see drugs and weapons decline, is there has been a lot of action against forums that are selling those types of things specifically. And law enforcement action obviously has helped hinder those operations. However, with that said, every time there's a forum takedown, just a couple, like this week or last week, there was Cracked and Null have been taken down or disrupted in some way. And even then, something's going to come in its replacement. But it's the trust factor that guides the criminals to where they're going, and whether they use it and adopt it in mass. I mean, we constantly see this after takedowns, is there's a shift in migration of which one's going to become the next big underground marketplace or underground forum for criminals to converse at.
Yeah, it's a, I guess, age-old game of whack-a-mole.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. What about technological advancements? I mean, obviously, everybody's talking about AI these days. Has the dynamic of that had an effect on these cyber criminal communities?
Absolutely. Cyber criminals are using AI technologies to help create phishing content and to help bypass security measures, as well as other things where there's been talk about criminal AI itself, which are AI technologies that criminals are trying to train to be more on the malicious sides that gets around the walls of information that they're trying not to prevent from people to get. Like, you can't go to major AI platforms and ask it to create you malware. However, the criminal ones would allow you to do that just off, without any of those handbrakes or anything like that involved. So yeah, AI is definitely something we're seeing an uptake in. However, it's still kind of hyped out to where it's not what the media sometimes is saying it is, but they are using it, and you can see it as specifically when they're talking about using it for phishing attempts to make a better use of English speaking in the cases of that. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you came from. You can do a pretty good English translation with AI.
Yeah, one of the things that caught my eye in the report was this idea that some of these English-speaking forums will converge with the non-English-speaking ones. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so the idea is that as we do more disruptions and more takedowns, you're seeing people move into other forums and that become more multilingual. And that's definitely due to the intensified law enforcement actions that migrated into jurisdictions with more lenient regulations. The shift is led to blending English-speaking forums with other languages. You'll see on what used to be typically a Russian forum, sometimes you'll see English threads with what appears to be a native English speaker, not a trying to converse and create. By doing that, they're trying to converse more broadly and creating a more diverse and interconnected cyber criminal ecosystem.
Yeah. What are the predominant goods and services that you're seeing these days on these forums?
As we mentioned earlier, Dave, access as a service is dominating for sure, and we're seeing a lot of a little bit of ransomware here and there, but cryptocurrency, money laundering services, cash outs to convert your services, to convert illicit gains into legitimate currencies, as an example. That's a lot of what we're seeing is, in the English forums, everyone wants their money and how to get it out from being a stolen or acquired cryptocurrency. How can I make that into real money?
One of the things the report touches on is the use of various platforms, things like Telegram. How has that changed the way that these folks communicate since the last time you tracked it almost a decade ago?
Yeah, so Telegram is definitely a new and rising platform of communication for the underground from 2015 when we originally released the English-speaking underground research. It's grown significantly. That's a large part of it. There was a little shift last year. People are using other services such as Talks and have migrated to Signal channels as well. But Telegram is a very important piece to track of where people are communicating. And that's one of the big reasons why cyber criminals are utilizing Telegram is because it's a little harder to take down that communication. Easier for them to just move it into new channels. And also, they're moving into more secure communication channels, which then reduces the exposure of sensitive information, such as if they're talking about their Bitcoin addresses or emails or anything like that. Before, if you put that in an open forum, somebody could grab that, where in these little more private chats, you may go under the radar for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I guess it makes it a little more challenging for law enforcement.
Yeah, that's kind of the, as we mentioned earlier, the whack-a-mole approach. Every time you hit the mole gets a little bit better at hiding itself.
Right. What about globalization? I mean, these are English-speaking forums, but it seems to me like, when we see takedowns, they are international efforts. Is the globalization of these groups a growing concern?
Yeah, the globalization of groups does provide more of a concern. You'll actually see some of this in cybercrime forums, where they're actually trying to find English-speaking people, and they're well known that they're out of that country. They're trying to get somebody who speaks English to do the crime for them in that jurisdiction. They actually sometimes will go after teenagers, trying to get them because they know that their crime is more leniently punished. And then once they hit 18, then crimes become real, especially in the United States. Not real, but more penalized.
Yeah.
So cyber criminals are increasingly operating in jurisdictions with more lenient regulations. And then they create a diverse, interconnected network of criminals. This tends to underscore the need for a global approach to combat the cybercrime and have more standardized regulations. You can't. It's very hard for people to go after, known criminals that are orchestrating these crimes that are in areas where their regulations are a lot more lenient towards cybercrime.
What are the take-homes for you from this report? What do you hope that folks get out of it from reading?
That it's an evolving market. The marketplace is ever evolving. Cybercrime is changing, especially with technology changing. And, what was relevant 15 years ago or 10 years ago, from 2011 to today, things have evolved, except for the one thing that hasn't really evolved is cybercrime itself is something that criminals are going to do. It has evolved to the point where cybercrime has been more, you have these different factions of it, and it's grown from, just some people on the internet and little tiny groups here and there causing problems to very large cybercriminal organizations that are best compared to being a corporation. They'll have, in ransomware groups, they have them, employee of the month and HR groups, and, how to handle with onboarding and offboarding. And it's not just, people just out there trying to make a little bit of money. It's people trying to make a mass amount of money, trying to do crime and trying to harm people, for their own personal gains.
That's Stephen Hilt from Trend Micro. We'll have a link to their research in our show notes. And now, a message from our sponsor, Zscaler, the leader in cloud security. Enterprises have spent billions of dollars on firewalls and VPNs, yet breaches continue to rise by an 18% year-over-year increase in ransomware attacks and a $75 million record payout in 2024. These traditional security tools expand your attack surface with public-facing IPs that are exploited by bad actors more easily than ever with AI tools. It's time to rethink your security. Zscaler Zero Trust plus AI stops attackers by hiding your attack surface, making apps and IPs invisible, eliminating lateral movement, connecting users only to specific apps, not the entire network, continuously verifying every request based on identity and context, simplifying security management with AI-powered automation, and detecting threats using AI to analyze over 500 billion daily transactions. Hackers can't attack what they can't see. Protect your organization with Zscaler Zero Trust and AI. Learn more at zscaler.com/security.
This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
And finally, 2 penetration testers from ThreatSpike Labs learned the hard way that miscommunication can be more dangerous than actual hacking. During a simulated breach at a corporate office in Malta, the duo successfully gained unauthorized access, stole a master keycard, and retrieved sensitive data, all part of an approved security assessment. But then things took a turn. The general manager who authorized the test panicked and called the police, convinced that real criminals were at work. Despite waving their authorization documents like a backstage pass at a concert, the testers were arrested and hauled in for questioning. Later, Kurt Hems reflected on the experience, saying, "Penetration tests don't always end with a report. Sometimes they end with flashing lights and handcuffs." The lesson learned? Tell law enforcement about security tests before they happen. Ironically, the security test worked. The company's response was swift, even if it resulted in unnecessary arrests. And that's the CyberWire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. N2K's senior producer is Alice Carruth. Our CyberWire producer is Liz Stokes. We're mixed by Trey Hester with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Peter Kilby is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow.